Hello, welcome back to the channel, and it's a green to glass video and it's a bit of a story, so let's jump straight into the brew day. We'll come back, we'll crack this bottle and I'll have a chat.
Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm brewing a Marzen. Basically it's a March beer in Germany. They're brewed in March, well traditionally they were, and then they were served in late September for the Oktoberfest. So there was no brewing between sort of April and September in Germany. It was like a traditional thing many years ago, and it was all to do with the heat and stuff. So this beer was brewed in March, lagered until September, and then brought out for the Oktoberfest. So I've never done one before, so I'm going to do one this year. And so what I'm using here in the malt, I've crushed it, so I've got 44% of this is Vienna malt, 39% Munich malt, 9% Carapils, 4% Munich type 1 for a little bit of colour and a little bit of malty backbone as well, and a bit of acidulated malt just to help with that pH. So I've got my water salts there, I've got pearl hop for bittering, and then I've got some Hallertau Blanc there for halfway through, around the 30-minute mark. And I'm using a yeast from a Pils beer brewed last year, and I've harvested that yeast, brought it back to life, done a starter. So I've got to get on with the brew day, and it's not going to be a grain to glass this one, because it's going to be September before I taste it. So I'm just going to do my brew, give you the recipe and the process. So the first thing I'm doing is getting my strike water up to 70, because I want to be mashing in around about 67. I want to try and go for like a medium body on this. 66 to 67 is my target for my mash. Going to do a 75-minute mash and a 60-minute boil. Hopefully I get a good pH on this, and yeah, let's see. The IBUs I'm aiming for is around about 30 for this. Because of the aging, I think the IBUs may just sort of fade a little bit, so it'll bring it around 20, 25s by the time I'm drinking it. So that's my plan. So as you can see, I've got the bag in the pan. So it's a brew in the bag, all grain recipe, all grain brew, stovetop, and hoping to get around about 7 litres batch on this, so a little bit higher than normal, but yeah, I'm hoping for about 7 litres. Hopefully you can see that. So I'm aiming for that 70, and we're pretty much going to get there round about, well, saying that, look at that, as soon as I said that it went down one, so we're just about to get there, the 70, which is going to give me a chance to mash in. There we go. Okay, so hit the temperature, going to put all this grain in the bag, and then I'm going to use a whisk just to make sure there's no dough balls. Also, I'm going to plan on doing a bit of a decoction mash, like a single decoction on this, just on the stove. Just take some out near the end of the mash, start to boil it and add it back in, hopefully get some caramelisation flavours. Okay, so like I say, just got the whisk in. This will help me get the temperature reduced as well. And I can let it rest for that 75 minutes. Put a couple of towels on top, obviously put the lid on, a couple of towels on top. I also use an old hoodie as well. I put that on the pan first, tie the arms around the pan, just a bit more insulation, and then put a couple of towels on the lid just to hold that temperature. So I'm going to add the salts in now. So this is just for my water profile. I'm aiming for like a Munich water profile on this. So for my water around here, that's just to add a little bit of baking or bicarbonate of soda and a little bit of chalk. So that's all I've done for the water profile and the additions, the salt additions for that. So the water around here is not too bad at all. So hopefully it'll work out okay. When I say about the hoodie, that's the idea. Just tie the arms around, keep a bit more insulation. There we go, 75 minutes for a mash. So we're getting close. We're getting close now to the end of the mash, and you can see held temperature using that the hoodie, a couple of towels on the stovetop, and I'm happy with that. So we're getting close to the end of the mash. Now I'm going to do the decoction. So I'm going to take about a quarter of a mash out, boil it, add it back in, and then get up to a mash out temperature around about 75. Like I said, the decoction point for me is just to add flavour. It's not needed because the malts nowadays, you know, they're so more advanced. You know, they've come so much further than they did, you know, 200 years ago or so, when you used decoction mashing for raising temperature and getting the, you know, all the enzymes and the sugars working. But now we're so modified the malts that we don't really need to do it. And I'm just doing it to add a little bit of flavour, and I just like to add that process in as well. So how I'm going to go about this to get the mash out is going to use a slatted spoon. You know, so get some mash, so the spoon, so some of the wort stage. You only want some of that, the wort, or you know, the liquor in there, but you just want to boil it. You basically, like I said before, you just after flavour. So I'll put this into a smaller pan and get it boiling. So there you go, there's the grains into the smaller pan now. So put this on the heat, get this to a boil it for about 5 minutes, then add it back into the mash, and then get that mash temperature. This will help rise it a little bit from that 67. I'm just looking at 75 for a mash out. I just put a little a note in here now to briefly explain decoction mashing and why it was used. But you can see now it's starting to heat up, and I just want that, like I say, the caramelisation, the Maillard or Maillard, probably said that wrong, you know, that effect. What I would say is don't walk away from it. You don't want it to burn. You don't want any of them burning flavours in your beer. You just want the caramelisation. So make sure you got a spoon in, stir it a few times, and just keep an eye on it and just stay with it. Okay, so time now. It's been on the boil about 10 minutes. So adding it back in, and any liquid as well, all back into the original mash, and get the mash up to 75. The smell is fantastic. The aroma coming off this boiled grain is just great. There you go. It's bringing it up now to that 75. And there we go. So I'll leave that for about 10 minutes on a mash out. Just in case you're wondering what I mean by mash out, I'll put a little bit of information up on the screen now. But yeah, it's not always needed, don't have to do it, especially as a stovetop all grain brewer, but I just like to follow the processes. So yeah, that's what a mash out is, so hopefully it's on the screen now. Okay, so there's the mash out done. So I just need to get the grains get the bag out, the wort, strain it, and then get on to the boil. So you can just see here, lifting the bag out. Got the gloves on because it's hot. I know you're doing. It's like a big tea bag, isn't it, I suppose? You just want to strain the grain, and all I do, make this a lot easier, is I have a rack. And I sit it on top. Hopefully you can see that. I'll just knock the camera there. He just pours out the bag back into the pan. So I'll be back when we get to a boil to add in them first lot of hops. As you can see, we're just getting to the it's going to come up to that hot break in a minute. All them proteins on top. I could stir that in, but I'm okay. So we're nearly at the boil now, and then it'll be the first edition of the Pearl hops at 60 minutes. So there we go, got to the boil. So let's get them Pearl hops in. So there we go, there's the hops, straight into the boil, just letting them in loose. And then I'll set the timer for 30 minutes and add the second edition, and that is Hallertau Blanc. Don't know how well you can see that on the camera, but that's my refractometer telling me I have got a 1.050. It's a bit difficult to do it on a 1.050. Achieve my target for the pre-boil. When I'm talking refractometer, that's what I mean, and that's a little sample you take from the pre-boil wort. Okay, the Hallertau Blanc 30-minute edition going in. Yeah, steam all over the camera. Okay, so there we go, 60-minute boil. So now, just got to get this cooled down, get it in the fermenter. I'm going to do pressure fermentation on this in that little mini 10-litre keg I've got. So yeah, so that's the next step, cooling, and then into fermenter. Okay, so now I've transferred the wort into the cooling pan, put it in the sink, got the ice bottles out. The next bit will be transferring it into that little pressure fermenter. Hopefully you can see that, that's the colour of the actual wort. So that's exactly what I was looking for, something going to be a little bit amber, malty, perfect for an Oktoberfest Marzen or Marzen, or whichever way you want to say it. Okay, so original gravity 1060, just about there, so I'm happy with that. So let's get it fermented. Okay, so I'm putting this through my straining bag again. So I boil it before I use it, and then I sanitise it with Star San, then a funnel, and then put it into the fermenter. So it just gives it another way of filtering it. Just make sure you sanitise. Like I said, I literally boil that bag before I do it again here. So there's the wort going in. All I've got to do now is add the yeast. Okay, now the yeast starter that I did, going in. All I've got to do now, put a little bit of pressure on this keg, and then let it start fermenting. Okay, so I'm going to give this a burst now of about 12 psi, and I'm going to ferment around about that same sort of pressure as well. So I'll put on the screen now the benefits of pressure fermenting, especially when it's like a lager style beer. Just purge off. You can hear it going in. And what I do next, take this off, and I put what is called a spunding valve on top of here, and that makes sure that the pressure, if it gets above that 12, it just lets out the CO2 it's building up. Okay, spunding valve on, and if you can just see on the screen, on the valve here, I can then adjust that with this little notch at the back and get it to the pressure that I want to get it at. If you hear that now, you can hear the CO2 coming out the back end. So as you can see, I've set that now to 10. So when it starts to ferment, it's going to build up some pressure, but I'm going to keep that on 10 now for about 2 weeks. The good thing with this, it doesn't need dry hopping, so it's no messing. It's dead straightforward. And like I say, you should have seen now the benefits of doing the pressure fermentation. But yeah, so this now is going to be tasted in September. So that's it. That's the brew day done. It's all set up. Put it away, and I will bottle it at some point. I'm going to put it in some flip top bottles or something, and then lager it in the bottle after it's got its carbonation. Okay, hopefully you enjoyed that. So a Marzen is really the traditional Oktoberfest beer. It's what they used to brew. Now they brew fest beers, a little bit lighter, and the Marzen was a bit heavier in beer.
in body, sorry. And so I brewed the Marzen, and I brewed it in March for March beer, and I've let it lager up until September. So it's the Oktoberfest beer for me. First time I've done this style, and I was lagering this in these bottles, and I did some crown top bottles, but I was laying them on the side in a polystyrene box for lagering in a cool place. And I came to look at them, and one of them, see, there's like these little flip tops, a little bit of pressure on them. So the seal had actually adjusted on one, and the whole of the beer had spilled over the crown top bottles and rusted them. So I had to throw them all, and I had about, I think, 5 bottles survived from the actual spillage. When I opened that polystyrene box, oh my, it was like, yeah, very, you could just tell stale beer smell at the bottom, and all them bottles just ruined. So hopefully this one's okay. So you've seen the brew day. Brewed it, like I say, 22nd of March. Got a final gravity 1010, 6.5% beer. Quite simple, really. It was a lager yeast, obviously. We had Vienna malt, Munich, dextrin, which is carapels, and Cara Munich type 1, and some acidulated malt for pH adjustment. And it was Perle and Hallertau Blanc hops. So yeah, so let's crack it. I'm a bit nervous. I really am a bit nervous about cracking this one, but let's see. Let's hope it doesn't go wrong. Oh, nice little bit of smoke going on there. Happy with that. So let's get the beer in my little stein. Like I say, it's the first time I've brewed a Marzen Oktoberfest beer. So looking forward to it. It is, you can see it's dark. Not dark, it's amber in colour. There we go. So the looks, I'd say that's a success. It's got some nice carbonation. It's a little bit hazy. It definitely is, even though it's been lagered. It's a little bit hazy. But I'm not too bothered about that, to be honest with you. Really not too bothered about that. It looks the part for me. It looks like what I would consider a traditional Oktoberfest beer. So it looks malty, doesn't it? Smells it as well. Smell them sweet bready notes. This smells good. I'm pleased with this. Sweet bready malt, caramel, toffee. So where am I getting that from? Maybe the Cara Munich, that Vienna, 44% Vienna malt, and that's probably where I'm getting that colour from. I mean, the haze. Yeah, it is hazy, but who cares? But look at the carbonation. I mean, that is carbonation for a lager, isn't it? It was, I did this in a keg, forced carbonated it, then bottled it, so it's not bottle conditioned. Anyway, move that bottle out of the way. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, or Prost. And yeah, I think I'll be looking at it, I'll be brewing it again. Hopefully it tastes good. Here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, that tastes really good. You're getting that nice malt backbone. There's not really much in the way of sweetness, which is perfect for me. It's got them malts that it's malty. It's just a malty beer. It's got lots of malt notes. Toffee, bread, caramel. A little bit on the back there, a little bitterness from the hop. I'm smiling because I'm happy. This is the first time I've done a Marzen, and it's the first time I've done one in March to drink during September into October for Oktoberfest. So it's my first ever Oktoberfest beer brewed at home, and I'm more than happy with that. That just tastes great. Tastes fucking great. It really does. I like that. And it's a recipe. I built it myself. It's my own recipe. Very good. Very. It doesn't go super dry. It's got like a nice sweetness at the end. It's not sweet like a Helles. It's like got this nice sweetness at the very end. Gives it a nice bit of body. And then it's crisp at the same time. It's great. It really, really is. I mean, that's a lot of cold as well, but I would have liked it a bit clearer. That's my only, I'd say, for rebrew it, I want it to have more clarity for a Marzen. But I'm more than happy with that. Oh, it tastes Germanic. Don't know, is that the right word? I'm pleased with it. So there you go. So comment below any questions. I'll try and answer the best I can. But that's my homebrew Marzen Oktoberfest beer coming up. I will be drinking some of this anyway. 6.5% at Sharktoberfest on the 21st of September on Shark Homebrew channel. Go and check that out. I'll be there drinking some of these and some Oktoberfest beers along with Shark and Kevin and maybe Simo and maybe Luke John. But yeah, come and check that out. That's on the 21st at 8 PM UK time, and I'll definitely be having a couple of these. Okay, cheers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another one.